All right, so there are those times in your life that you sometimes just have to hit the go button. And so that's what I'm doing right now. My name is Dan Roeder, and right now I'm coming to you live as me. I typically will introduce myself as Chief Academic Officer of the David Z Foundation, which I am, but I'm also a composer, performer, educator, and above all, a singer. Singing has always really been my jam. And ever since my first experience in choir, I think back in seventh grade, North Junior High School in St. Cloud, Minnesota, Mrs. Clinton was my choir teacher. Not the Mrs. Clinton you might be thinking of, but Mrs. Clinton was also awesome. So that experience of singing and especially singing together in a group in harmony and the culture that I learned around choir and around just using this instrument we get to carry with us has really just kept me curious my whole life about how can I be a better singer and how can I keep upping the game. And so now I'm finally hitting the go button on that. And I've created a 30-day challenge that starts today. And it's on nas.io. And shout out to Christelle from OCC. This is live actually on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and on X. And Christelle's got an amazing community of educators that are all super supportive. And just listening to one of the educators' spaces today, Justin R. French, he's smashing it on X and LinkedIn and in life in general. But I was so inspired to just kind of like get off of the perfection wagon and just hit go because it's so important to just start, So I'm starting today and I already am super excited. I've laid out this 30-day challenge that will be launching today in just in less than an hour. I have to put in a couple more checkpoints on nas.io. The challenge will be live and it's free. It's something that you can just kind of engage with as you can with your own time. It's not something that you have to check in every day and like do the weigh in, but it is something that has that flexibility built in because we're all busy, and we all have these different things that can come up. I wanted to actually do this live stream at 6:30 this morning, but schedule changed. So here we go. But I still pushed the go button. And so this is how you can get there. You can go to either nas.io and then the URL is keep singing, all one word, lowercase, or just you can take a screenshot of this QR code and then just tap on it. All sorts of things. You can grab another device and scan the QR code, but I'll put this up every now and again. But really, this live stream is just a chance for me to tell you a little bit about the challenge and the program and the community that I'm building. And this is a community of singers of all levels, from beginner to advanced. And just a little bit about what happened after that first singing experience in seventh grade. I ended up going to school for music. I actually was pre-med first, realized I don't have medical detachment, and so I needed to kind of find something in the humanities, and I fell in love with music theory. So there's a little bit of that rolled in, but really this is all about singing. So my degree is in vocal performance, and then I got my master's in music composition, and then I joined the teaching world, and now I'm in the nonprofit world. So I have firsthand experience of seeing that there are singers everywhere. And it's one of the best way that, as my little logo says, music can connect. Music connects not just us with each other, but also us with ourselves. And so one of the fundamental principles that I'm actually infusing into this 30-day challenge is more body awareness and being able to bring your full self into what you sing. My background is in singing choral music, musical theater, opera, classical music, but I have experience now writing and producing pop songs and rock songs and even hip hop. Whatever your genre is, this challenge is for you, because it really has that marriage of introspection and that self-development with the technique and things that are just there for you to use as tools and to build your own singing utility belt. So the two of the experts that I'm looking to for a lot of this material, and that I've really been learning about myself about for the last 20 years or so, I've become infatuated with their work, is two people, Rudolf Laban, and he was a Russian choreographer and scientist, and he really was interested in creating an objective system to explore human movement and connection. And so part of the work that he did is applied to a lot of theater. Actually, that's another passion and background that I have. And that is in effort. So we're going to be talking about how we bring our effort into singing. And it's a very specific scientific method. So in effort, we're talking about weight, space, time, and flow, those four elements, and how we can really master those pieces of ourselves. And we're bringing our full self into space as a mover and a singer. So singing is, since it's so personal, it's so us. That's what I really want to center this in and ground this in, because the classes that I took on it, I actually took 3 years of classes on it at University of Iowa, kind of accidentally, because I just needed something to fill a credit, and I took Rachel Sacker's class 3 times it was called Fundamentals of Human Movement and Movement Theory. So the other person is Irmgard Bartinieff. She was a child psychologist and also was really interested in movement and how, from the developmental angle, how these movements develop over time. So everything starts with breath. You will hear me say that many, many times throughout the course of this challenge, that we all start with breath. And so Bartinieff has these 7 different images or animals that help understand these features. So I just want to quickly go through them. Then we're going to do a warm-up, and then I'll send you on your merry way, because I want to keep this nice and short and digestible. But again, this is just a lot of information right now for what this challenge will be and what you'll get out of it. So the Bartinieff fundamentals, will just kind of practice moving too. If you're in a safe place to move, not when you're driving, but if you're in a safe place to move, then you can do these with. And it'll just kind of help us explore these together and build that awareness of it. And then you can bring these into just your daily moment of movement practice. So the first one is breath. And the image that Bartinieff uses is an amoeba. So if you just imagine like this in and out, that's it. 2 functions. And as breathers, as movers, as singers, we have this ability to draw things in and then expel them out. So the exercise that we're going to practice together, and again, do this when it's safe, is called X's and O's. So what I want you to do is just this is the O, like condense, contract everything, just kind of bring it in, and then you just explode it out, right? And you can move in any direction, and you're just concentrating on in and out, right? So here's your O, and here's your X. It's as simple as that. You can go in any direction that you want. It can feel silly, it can feel amazing, and that's where we really have to get into this practice of non-judgmental movement. So we are not judging ourselves. You can do mirror work. It's very important actually to be able to look into that mirror and get that inner outer, oh sorry, that was my minion, get that inner outer connection. But moving from the X's to the O's just gets us moving in that amoeba pattern. And if when we're talking Laban, kind of mixing Laban and Bartenieff, this amoeba pattern of just in and out, that's going to be very unbound, very free. It's going to be kind of timeless, and it's going to be directionless, so like a really indirect, and it's going to have just this lightness to it, right? So that's how we start talking about these efforts and mixing these two worlds together as we learn to really gain that self-awareness and that that practice, right? Practice makes progress. So the second fundamental of human movement to talk about today, and maybe I'll just go through a few because all 7 is going to take a bit, and I want to get to some singing. So the second one is called core distal, and that's where we're taking this amoeba pattern of just in and out, that directionless, very free, and now we're gaining that awareness of our extremities. So we've got our head, we've got our tail, your coccyx, we've got an arm here, an arm there, leg there, leg there. However many extremities you have, that's what you can use. But make sure that you're connecting through your core for all of them. So this is just a little bit more refined and directional of this amoeba. So this, think of a starfish. This is the animal that I think helps me the most, is to just think like everything's coming in to the, let me move this so you can see. I'll put it back up, don't worry. So everything's coming from this center, from this core, and we really want that diaphragmatic awareness as well, where you have this right below your rib cage, 2 fingers above your belly button. Right here is your diaphragm. So that's where the starfish can really help us gain that awareness. And so again, it's it's very free. We can move across any plane that we want, and starfishes can go up, they can go down. There's just not like these patterns yet, but the pattern to be aware of that sometimes we forget is that that core to our distal, our extremities, our distal extremities. So it's far away. So you're thinking from my core, my diaphragm, to my fingertips, from my core, my diaphragm, to the top of my head, like there's somebody pulling a string out the top of your head. All the way to your tailbone, like you're maybe sitting on just imagine you're sitting on a chair and that you have 3 points of contact. So you have your hip, behind you have your hip bones, and then you've also got that coccyx that can make contact. So that's really important to get that connection from core to distal at where, the end of our reach. Okay, so third one, and then we'll move into a couple of vocal exercises. This is head tail. So we're moving from our amoeba, which is just that free inner outer X's and O's, and we've got our starfish of moving freely in any plane, but going from our core to our distal extremities. And then we have our head tail. So we're just kind of really focusing on this plane going from the tip of our head. Like imagine you're pulling a spaghetti noodle out the top of your head, and it's like making your spine tall. So as singers, we don't want to say stand up straight, because then we usually get this and you get tension. Part of this whole 30-day challenge is actually trying to release that tension and to sink into our connections. And when we start with this connection of inner outer and move to then our amoeba, and then move to our core distal, that starfish, and then our head tail, and this is a snake. Right, we've got the head, we've got the tail. So we want to bring those other patterns in as we move around, but then just really start focusing on these more specific patterns, these homolateral patterns, where we can do things symmetrically on both sides of the body. So that's, thinking of in body halves is more vocabulary that we'll be learning together through this 30-day challenge. So as a singer, it's more helpful to say, stand up tall, and then you can imagine that spaghetti noodle, or if you have to imagine like somebody's lifting you up from the top of your head, and that connection goes all the way down your spine. That's the head tail connection, vertebrae by vertebrae, and then out the very tip of your coccyx, your tailbone. So that is where the head-tail connection can really support us. So it helps us build that foundation of singer's posture. So if you're able, or maybe do this later, then I want you to stand up tall and, kind of do some X's and O's, get that inner outer going, move across the sagittal plane and all the planes, and then find your starfish, where you're really thinking from that core to the tip of your fingertips, the core distal. And then now I want you to really focus on that head tail. So often it's helpful as a singer to just shake out your hands, shake them, shake them, shake them, shake them, shake them, and let them drop. That's where your shoulders should be, right? Very often as a singer, our shoulders start going like this, and they start creeping up, and then that creates more tension, right? This is all about releasing the tension. So release, 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 shake out the starfish energy, and then let them drop. And now stand tall. And see how that feels. And just, have some awareness there of what is that feeling of moving along my head-tail connection. And that's where you can explore, just thinking of that tip of your head. You can explore it in space. Then you can bring in the tailbone. Hopefully you're in a place where you can do this safely and be silly, because I'm being silly online. I don't know what 24 people are watching me right now, but I'm still exploring my head-tail connection. So from this place where you're standing up tall, you've released that starfish energy, you're really still maintaining that inner outer, and you have that head-tail connection in mind. I want you to explore how that affects your jaw and how that affects the space behind your eyes. Those are very, very important when you're a singer. And so you just want to relax into that head-tail connection, let your jaw drop, and just feel that. I don't recommend, like some people like to hook their finger on their chin and just feel the weight of gravity. I don't recommend that necessarily unless you really can't feel that jaw connection, because there's a tendency to like crank it down. And then that creates more what? Tension, right? So we want to release the tension. So just, if you have to go backwards a little bit and sequence through the patterns again, start with that inner outer, that amoeba, and then go to the starfish, where you're really thinking through your extremities, find the head-tail connection, shake out the starfish energy, and then breathe, okay? So just feel that jaw relax. And I like to tell my students to think of Julia Childs. And she has the most open vowels in the universe, right? So you can even say something like, today is Monday, and let that jaw go as you're saying it. And it's okay to be silly, I swear. Today is Monday, day, right? And you hear what happens to your vowels is it goes from that very nasal day to day, right? So this is all play. This is fun, right? So we have the sound. And so that's in a direct alignment with this head-tail connection we've been really focusing on today. So now we're going to get to singing, and we've already been breathing. We've already done a lot of that. Hopefully you're still breathing. And I just want you to really sink into that head-tail connection and say yah, yah, yah. Just say it. Start by saying it. It's okay. Yah, right? And now just, I want you to slide down. Yah, yah, yah. And it is okay to be goofy and to play. And now I want you to go, ya, 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 ya. Ya, 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 ya. Ya, 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 ya. See, I tricked you into singing. Ya, 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 ya. Ya, 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 ya. Now, Those of you who are just joining, happy to see you. There's a challenge that we're just starting right now called the How Can I Keep from Singing Challenge. And there's more information there if you want to join us. So anybody who's been singing already, we're going to keep going. Go as low as you can that is comfortable, and we'll talk about what to do when you kind of hit that bottom. You don't want to push through it. That creates what? Tension. But you can work through it. You can relax through it, okay? Ya, 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 ya. Think of the head-tail connection. Your jaw just relaxed. Ya, 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 ya. Ya, 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 ya. See, my voice is kind of bottoming out, so I'm just going to go up an octave. Ya, 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 ya. Ya, 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 ya. Ya, 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 ya. Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah? Okay. Now we're just going to flip it around. We're going to go higher. Ya, 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 ya. Now this is going to get pretty high for me, so I'm going to think ahead. I'm going to start lower. Ya, 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 ya. Ya, 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 ya. Let the jaw go. Ya, 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 ya. 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 Now, this is something I will say too. This is why we're doing movement. When you get to kind of that top of your range, but you have some more room and you can work through it, you can relax through it, start adding gestures. So this is a very kinesthetic approach. We still have ya, 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 ya. Or throw a frisbee. Ya, 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 ya. Or bounce a basketball. Ya, 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 ya. Whatever helps. Ya, 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 ya. 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 So that was like a high A flat. So that's cool, If you're just really focusing on that relaxing into it as you sing, that's where we want to be. And you might notice as I was getting higher and higher, I was kind of sinking into the note, right? It's counterintuitive. It's not the way we think we're supposed to move. Whenever we're going high, we might think, ya, 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 I gotta get that note. But it's not. It's not. It's not going to be helpful because that actually is going to close off your throat. If we think about it, it's actually kind of extending your whole larynx and it's pinching it. So if we relax, if we sink into the notes, if we ground ourselves in the notes, that's over half the battle because the music's in here. The music's in our heart. It just has to get out. So we have to find ways to let it out. All right. So we'll do one more vocal exercise, and then I think that's probably going to be it because I meant to go 15 minutes and it's now at 23. So you're welcome. There was a lot of information at the beginning. If you missed the context for what I'm even doing right now, please go back to the beginning in this live stream. And you can hear about this 30-day challenge that is starting. You can sign up for the challenge just with your email. It's free. And it's going to be on that QR code. Or here, let me hide that for a second. You can also go to nas.io, nas.io/keep singing. And all one word, lowercase, because how can we keep from singing, right? All right, so last vocal exercise. This one is more focused on that breath. As we work together for the next 30 days, we have different ways that we can release the breath. We can release it in short pulses. We can release it on the breath. We can do a balanced onset. We can do glottals. I don't recommend doing glottals. We actually want to kind of train ourselves away from glottals. We'll talk about that. And then, we can have these long sustained notes. So shout out to Jeffrey Banks yesterday for talking about breath and about how, what does it mean when we have, how long can we hold a note? What is the context for the length of a note and our lung capacity, that kind of thing. So it's all relative, like much in life. So not all notes are created equal. Some notes, and depending on the sounds that they're accompanied with, the different vowel sounds and consonant sounds, some are going to take a lot more breath to get out in a very short burst of air. Some you'll be able to sustain for, like, what was it, Jeffrey, 47 seconds. That's amazing. But one of the things that we do as we think of that amoeba and that breath, that inner outer, you have to really think of that that balance of energy in, energy out, right? So there are things that we can do to increase the energy in our tone, to kind of have it give it that spinning sound. And I'm not talking vibrato. I'm talking about that forward motion that feels effortless. But it's all about the effort that we're actually putting in. Effort meaning what I said at the beginning: flow, space, weight, and time. Okay, so if any of this is intriguing you, please do sign up for the challenge, and hope to see you there. I'm excited about it if you can't tell. So this last one is going to be using those short bursts of air, and then we're going to have one of our plosive consonants, the pa. So it's just going to be pop 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 pop. Just say it, actually, before we even sing it. Just say pop 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 pop. Right? You have that explosion of air on each syllable, and what we really want to think about is how are we getting that plosive, that expellation, is that a word? Expelling our air with that amount of energy, but still having energy to sustain the tone and the line. So that's why we do this. Practice makes progress. So here it is. Pop 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 pop. Sorry. Pop 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 pop. So you want to be right on the front of the beat. Pop 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 pop. Pop 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 pop. Pop 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 pop. Yeah, we can go faster. And we can get ridiculous. We'll do that later. So hopefully this was a good introduction to singing. There are so many techniques that I can share with you. And please just go ahead and sign up for that 30-day challenge, free, low stakes. There's flexibility in it too. It's not like we have to do a check-in every day. And I'm not going to take attendance, but I am going to interact with you. So if you guys come with questions, if you have specific things you want to work on, specific songs, specific genres, you can also join the How Can I Keep From Singing community on X. That is in my profile on X, and hope to see you in the challenge. So go and make a beautiful day